Hey, Monique.
Hey, Mariah.
How's it going today?
So good.
Do you ever have people that come into your life and like you didn't know them before, but then within like a span of a week, you've heard their name 10 times?
Yes.
And you're like, wait a minute, I didn't know you. And now everyone I know knows you.
Yeah.
And now obviously we were meant to connect and
Yes.
like be in each other's spheres.
Yes. I have. Yes.
Well, that is who we have as a guest today.
Ooh.
For me, and I feel like for both of us,
Yeah, I
kind of
would
around the
agree.
same time.
Yeah.
This phenomenal human made a splash into our lives and has now just become a permanent staple in our circles. Heather Wilde of Hesi May is here with us today. We're so excited to hear her story, talk about all the incredible things that she does. She's a quintessential entrepreneur and just, I don't know, when you're around her, you're just like, there's just so much
It's
here.
like female badass energy, don't
Hell
you feel?
yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously, like big time female badass energy,
Yeah.
which we're all about that.
Yes.
Yeah. So shall we jump into the episode?
Please, let's.
Let's go. Welcome to Heart and Soul, the podcast where we empower and inspire women to lead their best lives, harnessing the power of their hearts and souls. We are Mariah
And Monique.
your hosts and guides on this journey of self-discovery and personal growth.
In each episode, we will dive deep into topics that matter most to you, from self-love and confidence to career development, relationships, and everything in between. We believe that every woman has a unique strength and inner wisdom waiting to be unleashed.
Join us as we cover insightful heart and soul-centered topics and interview incredible women who've overcome challenges, chased their dreams, and found their true purpose. Through all of this, you will discover practical tips, strategies, and real-life stories to help you navigate life's twists and turns.
For whatever season of life you're in, this podcast is your safe space to explore, learn, grow, and possibly even laugh and cry with us. So grab your headphones, maybe your favorite drink, and we'll embark on this transformative journey together.
With heart, I'm Mariah.
And with soul, I'm Monique.
Well, welcome, Heather.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
We're
Oh my gosh, our
thrilled.
honor. Yes.
It took us a minute to finally coordinate all of our schedules and get us all in the same room. But like I said in the opening, I feel like you came into my circle and have just like, you're just part of it now. It's so amazing. And one of our traditions here on the Heart and Soul podcast is we like to talk about how we came to know a guest and
Yes.
came into our world. And it wasn't much, maybe a year ago, not even I don't think that you joined a board that I was on. And in that like same week that I met you as part of this board, like 3 other people were like, do you know Heather Wilde? And I'm like, well, funny you should mention it. Actually, I do. And then I'm talking to someone who's like, I need a book publisher. And I'm like, well, I just met Heather Wilde. Like, do you know Heather Wilde? And it was like happening everywhere I went.
Yeah.
And then even our podcast producer, Asher, was like, oh, I know Heather Wilde. And we're like, what? Like, who is this human? And why did she just, like, what has happened?
All of a
Like,
sudden, she just
the
appeared.
portal opened, and there you were. So ever since then, it's been just a delight to know you, to see your work, to work with you on the board that we serve on together. And we've known that we wanted you to be a guest on the podcast for a long time.
Yes.
So, Monique, do you want to share?
Yeah. It's funny because I remember seeing you like on Facebook. We friended each other. And this was like a couple years ago because you were working with Sarah Seidelman on a 100-day project.
Sure.
And I was kind of obsessed with your art that you were posting. So Sarah had featured stuff that you had been involved in. And I was like, oh, her art's really cool. I don't know who she is, but I want to know her. And I just like stalked you from afar for like 2 years.
This is typically how Monique knows our guests is some form of stalking. So.
Wow, that sounds so bad. I'm honored. So anyways, I just remember that. And then I was curious about like, I had this download of this like children's book and which I've done nothing with, just by the way. And I just like wanted to be like, what do you do if you ever actually want a book, published, or like, how do you do this? So I met with you. And since then I've had a couple people come to me that like Spirit has been like, you need to like get your book done. So I bring them to you, right? Because I mean, we got to help each other out and they need help. So, and then then it's just like, I feel like the universe was just picking up the tornado. Like she's coming in. She's coming in
hot.
like in our world now in all the ways, right? Yes. So it's been such a cool thing to watch you. I think actually when I started watching you, you were still a teacher.
Probably. Actually, my first 100 days was in 2022.
Okay.
And I had just finished writing my manuscript for my memoir. And I just wanted to be with the people, Sarah's group, who was doing the 100-day soul retrieval. And I just wanted to be a part of it. And that
life-changing?
Unlocked so much. And so, actually that's catalyzed into me submitting a resignation as a teacher on July 5th. I wrote it on July 4th.
Wow.
I mean, I gave it that much time. I met with my principal at the end. He was a new principal. I met with him like June 10th and said, here's the program for next year. I loved my job. My job. And between June 10th and July 4th, I had enough messages from Spirit to leave.
Wow.
And I did it.
Good on you.
And that was right when Roe v. Wade had been turned.
Yep. Oh.
And so it was like this July 4th, I didn't feel like celebrating in the usual way. And I was like, I'm writing my resignation. And I loved my job. It was just, I felt a bigger calling.
That's wonderful. Beautiful. Well, that's kind of how we met. But we're really excited to hear more about you and your story. Like, how did you meet yourself?
What a perfect segue, really, of like what you just shared of like a huge life transition that you made not that long ago. And that's, again, like we're drawn to people who are not afraid to go deep and take big leaps. So I'd love for you to start by just sharing, like, who's Heather Wilde?
Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny you say that because it was my own big leap. Just deciding to pick up the pen and write that memoir, which I wrote by hand. I did not type it. And I used all these colored Inkjoy pens. And it was so cathartic. And then when I'd be in a writing session, the next session, I'd do a different colored pen. So it became this very traceable thing. I have 2 3-subject Mead notebooks.
Oh my god!
And I still have them. They're on my altar.
That's super cool.
And so like I showed up and took the big leap just to like get it out of me.
Right. Yeah. It's more for yourself at that point.
Absolutely.
Right.
But then, I mean, when I decided to leave teaching, I had not even published it yet. I mean, so it's not like, oh, you published your book, you're going to leave your career.
Oh, like this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that.
No, this was following a dream and some like, I don't know, intuitive nudges that pushed me off a cliff.
Yeah.
And it was the art and it was my passion for people that have suffered in ways and don't feel seen or validated. And that just sort of morphed its way into who I am sitting here. It were those leaps and showing people that it's the leaps that actually make a big difference in our lives. Because I didn't leave even to make a publishing company. A publishing company came to me.
Wow.
Right? So people are like, oh, I think I like this. And you start a company. I was an English teacher, wrote a memoir, published it finally, almost a year later.
Okay.
Self-published it. And then I got an amazing opportunity right when I was celebrating. I was at Clyde Iron and I was having my launch party. And someone said, you know, my mom is in hospice over in Superior and her dying wish is to be a published author. Do you think you could help her?
Oh
and
my
I
gosh.
just sat there and I was like, so I'm over here going, I mean, to publish that book was like so vulnerable. And like, I thought the sky was going to fall.
Yeah.
I really did because the content that was in there was,
and that's someone's last kind of rights, for God's sakes. Don't screw that up.
Right. And so that's what I went into then was like a 4 or 5 months. So I'm not a teacher anymore. I don't have a business per se.
Yeah.
And this is a year, at the end of that first school year, I didn't teach. And I met with Pat for about 4 or 5 months. And I learned right away I couldn't take notes like a journalist. I wasn't a trained journalist. So I just brought my phone and recorded every minute we talked.
Wow.
And I did that. And then I was like, okay, I got to write a book. And we didn't know how long she'd make it. She'd have bad days.
Yeah.
She'd have good days. And she was very stubborn. I couldn't like say, hey, this area in this book would be weak. And so I ended up writing the story like Tuesdays with Maury.
Yes, yeah.
I had to, so the story is the development of our friendship as she told me her story.
Oh my
And
God.
I love her to pieces, and it changed my life. And so then that book was done, and we got it in our hands, and Mayor Payne came for the book launch and declared it Pat Passero Day.
Oh my gosh.
And she almost passed the night before. Like, it's just a whole thing, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
And I just sat there and I realized how people need to, if it's on their heart, they need a path and a hand
Yes.
to tell their story.
Yes.
Yes.
And then that turned into a referral. And within 1.5 months, I had 3 book contracts.
Wow.
And that would have been
Oh
the
my
fall
God.
of 23.
that
Wow.
literally
So that was 2 years
found
ago.
you.
It
Wow.
absolutely
The minute
found
you were
me.
open and hands
Yeah.
out saying, "What will you have for me?"
Yeah.
It just fell into your lap.
Well, and I was an English teacher.
Yeah. It was
So, like,
natural progression.
It was super natural. I mean, I can edit if I have too many books, I can hire out an editor, or I can edit it if it's slow.
Yeah.
Like, I bring a lot to the table
Yep.
for this type of a company. So
Wow.
yeah, so really it was following the breadcrumbs.
Impressive.
I talk a lot about how, like, all the breadcrumbs of life. I've shared that before in the podcast of, like, looking back, how it all makes sense. Sometimes the path where you're just like, oh, that's why I picked up that skill 20 years ago. Now I need it
Yes,
today,
yes.
right?
Right.
Seems super random, but
And like connecting all of those dots and putting together, like, oh, all these breadcrumbs have led to this, and then
Absolutely.
there's more ahead, right? Like, it's never, it's not done until it's done, and
Right.
just continuing to listen to those calls, to show up when they happen, and to be open and available, and that's where you made yourself available for that.
And I don't think it's ever done, because my goal is to start these ripples out there, so it's a legacy.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a legacy
Yes.
of healing,
Yes.
right? Like,
Think
I might
about
leave
that.
the planet, but
Yeah.
if Pat Passero, got her voice out there, and so, these other authors that are coming and vulnerably saying, I have something I really feel called to share, this ripple effect. And so it's never over, because those ripples are going to continue and hopefully turn into
Yeah.
huge tsunamis of
And
change.
your legacy
Absolutely.
is literally already out there.
Right.
You've already made that impact. And again, that was not that long ago.
I know.
And it's moved so quickly to become your identity, because when I met you, you were a publisher. I was like, well, that's the first publisher I've ever met.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
instantly, within a day, I was like, I know someone who needs a publisher, because that magnetism, right? You're magnetic around this is like your true self, and
Yeah.
the people find you.
My word of 2025 is magnetize.
Ooh,
Is it?
That's a good one,
Oh.
actually.
Oh, we
I know.
need to
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
that's a big thing for me right now too. So
Yeah.
cool.
And it has been.
We'll talk a little bit more about the Hesi May brand, because it's not just publishing anymore. It's more than that. You're launching that. I'll let you share, but tell us about, what is Hesi May?
So Hesi May is interesting, because a part of my healing journey too is my maybe hesitation to be really visible. And that includes your brand, right? You are your
Yes.
brand. And so I'm like this give and take, where I understand that I'm like the Aries badass, but then I'm also like the gentle mist who also wants to just kind of not be seen. Like,
Yeah.
I'm both. And so I've had a couple different names for my companies. And so I needed to, when I became a full-fledged publishing company, I picked Hesi May, and it came to me in a dream. Hesi May was my childhood nickname from my dad.
Oh, wow.
And so my name is Heather Nicole, which has nothing to do with Hesi May. But
No.
it was like, when I heard it, it was like, oh, it's me, but it's not me.
Yeah.
Right? And
It's all like a persona.
It is. It's a
almost. Yeah.
persona. And I'm estranged from my dad. He's here, but I'm estranged, been estranged for a decade. And so, like, it was kind of taking back or honoring the journey. And it did start out as Hesi May, and it was like, okay, this is a publishing company, publishing website. And then as I just kept craving art, I just crave art. I love art. It makes me just giggle
I
and be
know.
happy. And
It's the best thing.
and when you said, hey, that's how I think I remember you, I'm like, yes. And so then people would say, well, how do I get access to your art? And I'm like, well, I have this really gorgeous website called Hesi May, but it's only publishing. And I also do inspirational, transformational speaking. And it's like, well, where does that fall?
Yeah.
And I realized that I had outgrown very quickly,
yeah.
because this new website actually was launched a year ago, this full-fledged publishing website. And it just, within this year, it's like, no, I am Hesi May, and my art is, my art is so important. I believe our energy goes out in everything we do. It's our spoken word, it's our written word, it's in our presence, it's in our art. And I also recognize that not everybody wants to write a book and publish a book, but I know people crave what I'm offering. And so how can I make that available and affordable, and it's different than that publishing experience? And so I've dabbled with art for so long and done so many things with it, and I want more. And so now I started this monthly art club, which I think is the best thing in the whole damn world. Like, I am gleefully excited about it and the energy that goes out. And then I added the speaking. It's all on there. And so Hesi May's now
We'll have to check it out. It sounds exciting.
There's a couple little sections left to be built, but it is a big deal. I'm really excited.
Hey, Monique.
Hey.
Did you know it's that special time of year again?
Wait, but it's not my birthday.
No, it's not your birthday. That's in February. I know that. It is the time of year where we are recruiting for our next cohort of the Heart and Soul Mastermind.
Yes, such an exciting time.
This is where it all began with us.
Yes.
We began in a mastermind. We met each other there. And years later, we are now recruiting for our 5th cohort.
I can't even believe
This
it.
will be the 5th group of women that we get to support in the mastermind.
Oh, it's lovely.
It's a powerful group, small group of women that will come together monthly, share what is coming up for them and where they need help, and support each other, with us also guiding and leading them.
Yes.
Every month, we'll have a retreat in person. We're always just a text message away. But the things that we have seen come out of this group, these groups,
amazing.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
Like marriages, children,
businesses,
jobs being quit, businesses being started, like whole life paths being altered.
Yeah.
All
of it
towards their purpose. Like really like getting in tune with these women's soul's purpose and supporting them through that journey. So if you're listening to this, or if you're one of our listeners and you are thinking, you know what, I kind of could use a little bit more of these two in my life. Another exciting component of this year's recruiting is that our group is going to be virtual.
Yes.
You do not have to live in Duluth, Minnesota to participate.
It's a big deal, actually.
This is big. Like we have had an in-person group the previous 4 years, but we're expanding that to be a virtual group. So whether you're here locally with us or you want to join us on Zoom, we're going to meet monthly on Zoom. And we can attest, we've done it ourselves, that virtual group is just as impactful.
Absolutely.
It's kind of amazing what can happen. You can feel the energy straight through your screen. So if this sounds like something for you, we have just a couple spots left to fill. We truly believe that everyone who comes to us, like, it's aligned.
Yes.
There's a calling that happens. You're going to be listening to this and think, I'm in. Reach out on our website. Let us know that you're interested. We'll set up time to meet and discuss.
We have a Zoom session. Then you'll get a one-on-one with us, and we'll explain more, answer any questions, and also just, let you kind of. We make sure that the person's the right fit for the group as well.
Yeah, it's mutual. We want it to be the right setting for everybody involved. So I'm excited
I know,
for this
I can't wait to
special time of
meet
year.
our next best buddies.
I know. It's so special what we've created. And so many of our members have also been guests on our podcast. We started this podcast because of one of our members suggesting it to us. So the group is really just one of the most special things in our lives.
It's close to our heart and soul.
Yes. So if you're interested, find us on Instagram or reach out through our website and let us know.
It sounds like it encompasses you way more, right? Like, more better.
More better. It's your full authentic brand.
Yes.
Like, you are the brand. And these are all the different components. And ultimately, a good brand will allow you to add components or take them away as they serve
like
you.
Oprah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oprah. TV show, magazine.
right.
What,
Mel Robbins,
you can,
any of them.
Yeah, Martha Stewart. You can have a cooking line. You can have 7 magazines. Like, you are the brand. And I do think that the name Hesi May is magnetic itself. Like, there's something about it. I remember the first time I heard it and you gave me your business card, I was like, I'm never going to forget this. Like, it's
not just.
it just like conjures just like a cute little girl. Like now that you've
Yes.
shared that, because I didn't realize that was the origin, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's very approachable. So I love branding. So
Me too.
She's very good at it. She does
but
our branding.
Yeah, I think that it makes sense that this is just like your story. And I've always been like the inner child work and like going back to like that authentic little you, I think is a really powerful exercise. And you've done that. You've reconnected to that person and brought them into who you are today. Which is
I
really
even
cool.
did during that the original 100 days, which would have been back in 22, I made a little girl with I had like Shirley Temple hair, much like, we share hair.
Yeah.
And I made her, and she just has this crazy curls, and she's got love written on her t-shirt, and she's got like little front teeth like coming in. And you don't realize when you put your energy into art, the messages are coming, and you might not even figure them out until later. Or they might trigger something later. And I realized much later on that was me. I mean, it looks just like me.
Yeah.
But I was just doing a little girl.
Yeah.
And so now I've taken that art piece and I've made it stationary for my store because I'm like honoring you know what I mean? So
Yes.
it just keeps, like you just said, going back to that inner child. That's who I needed to heal
Yeah.
and talk to. And she's working with me so that we can both feel safe, because that is a very big deal in my world, is just that sense of security and sanctuary and safety has been very lacking. And I know that's just as much for her as me. So yeah, the brand is so much more, and it gives me the freedom. I think I also had the publishing because when I left teaching, I was probably financially stable. I'd been in it for quite a while. I had my dream job. I had a master's degree. I had health insurance.
That's not nothing.
Right? Yeah, right. Like I had all these things, and then all of a sudden, like I quit because of a dream and this deep intuition. And I had $1,000 in savings, and I was a single mom who owned a home without a plan.
Very brave.
Like I still I'm like over here going like, Heather, what were you?
It's a real big leap.
Yes.
It was a tremendous leap. And so I think when publishing came to me, I think that it was a scarcity mindset thing because the contracts are bigger.
Oh, sure.
And so to me, it was like, well, if I can really push the publishing, I will be financially where I need to, in a better spot. And so the art, well, that's just little. That's, I kind of kept pushing aside some of the things that I kept trying to create my business based on finding a financial security. And once now I have worked through that scarcity mindset a little, I'm able to say, oh, it's a component of me. But it's so obvious through work I've done that my art is my bliss. And I bring that energy to the publishing. That's a part of it, right? There's so much design work and beauty involved in publishing a book.
Yes.
And so I really had to grow into saying, oh, you can be all of these things. Yeah. The world won't fall apart. And it feels amazing.
Well, it's to relate it back to The Big Leap, which is also a book that Monique and I talk about a lot. And you're in your zone of competency, your zone of excellence. You're probably in your zone of excellence in teaching. You translated that more laterally right into publishing. It made a lot of sense. It was like the perfect thing to get you there. But now you're going up into your zone of genius. The work that you do that never feels like work, but then will ultimately compensate you the most royally that
you
you've
could
ever
do it all
been.
day.
Do it forever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you love it. And
that's
time
exactly,
passes and you're like, what? That was 5 hours?
And the only way to truly get into that space is through leaping.
Yes.
Because you're constantly going to be hitting that upper limiting beliefs, the ceiling, the societal pressures, pushbacks. If you can crash through that, even though it's scary as hell, and we've done it, you'll come out on the other side realizing like, oh, I had to do that. You weren't gonna break that glass any other way. And it's scary, but it's so worth it.
It's so scary.
I feel like Spirit does like lead you to be extremely uncomfortable if you don't follow your dreams, if you don't follow your zone of genius. Like it will make it painful for you.
Well, you're going to be uncomfortable either way, right? So you have to ultimately decide, do you choose the discomfort of what you know? And that's easy to be comfortable with, right? Like you're comfortable just being like, well, I mean, it kind of sucks, but, or do you choose the discomfort of breaking into the unknown? And I I don't think I've met someone, to be honest, where we have had the conversation about doing that hasn't resulted better on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't.
True. Oh, that's super great to say.
Yeah. Like, in what instances do you have where you believed from that person that was a good idea? Because we can see in other people what they can't see, right?
Right.
So like I can, say I'm thinking about doing something, and Monique will honestly be able to tell me if she thinks that's a good idea or not, right? And if she thinks she sees in me it's a good idea and I do it,
It always.
Yeah.
when does it not work out? Like,
But you know what I did do? I gave myself permission because I do look back at that great leap of leaving that career. Again, it was something I actually would never go back to teaching because I love that specific position so much. It was an island. It was not a job I would be able to get again. It was like it was created for me. And so I won't go back. But what I have been doing for about the last year when things have been less than perfect is I've actually been like kind of challenging the universe is what I would say. Like, I believe I did the right thing, or I continue to like learn, I'm healing, but I need some help.
Yes.
Like
Ask
I
for
have
signs.
really
Yes.
been like kind of pissy.
I've
just
been the
like,
same.
I'm like,
Yeah.
listen, I'm at my last straw.
Yep.
What more do I need to learn so that
yeah.
I can push through? And I did that again in the beginning of September. I was like, if it's not aligned, I don't want it.
Yes.
I said, take it away from me. And lo and behold, the universe was like, here, baby, take this. And it's been a horrific fall, a horrific, but I had to get that low
Yeah.
to see.
That's what I'm talking about
the
with the
ceiling.
pain point.
This is you
Yes.
with the cancer.
Yes.
Let's be honest,
Yes.
right? Like
Yes.
thinking about your story, like it had to get pretty bad.
Yeah, for everything. And then I had to like my whole like marriage when I was married had to like fall apart. So I would take the leap, do spiritual work, become a life coach, do all the things we do. Then I had to get the cancer. So I would get out of a relationship that wasn't supportive, get out of businesses that weren't supportive anymore. Super painful. But I like to say, if you don't listen to the whisper, it literally pushes you off the cliff.
It will.
So listen to the whisper, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
how can you steer that ship slowly
Yes.
by listening to that intuition versus having to just have it hit ground?
Yes.
Right? Like, what could you do if you have the tools and if you know that you trust your intuition and you start to begin to develop that trust with the universe? Can you guide the ship slowly? Or you got to just crash in?
I think sometimes, I think it's not our lack of following our intuition or doing the right things. I think sometimes the universe knows it's only going to take a crash.
Yeah,
Like,
for
what I
sure.
mean? Because I sit here and I look back at all of the healing I've done in the steps, and it's been such a baby steps. And then there's all these big things, and you don't know what you don't know. And I know the value I feel when I come out of those crashes.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think the baby
That is
steps are
true.
harder to recognize. You're like, if they add up, they're great. But at the same time, when you recover from a crash, God, it's so
Well, I do feel like that speaks to how we humans love the drama.
Yeah.
I
I'm like,
mean,
oh,
I'm trying to
literally-
learn to like the subtleties. That's why my meditation practice, I'm really leaning into that so I don't have to have the drama.
Yeah.
So I can look at the subtleties and be like, that's actually just as fucking profound
absolutely.
as the cancer or the knee or the fucking pneumonia, all the
Yeah.
shit I had to go through the last year, right? Like,
Yeah.
I really, really, because I think we do. I think we like the drama. We like to like focus on it, and I don't know. I'll digress about that.
No, I kind of agree with you, and I kind of challenge that because when I'm listening to you, I was like, oh yeah, totally, I need those crashes, and then I was like, I need those crashes because I will push it away and fight it and conquer it forever until it gets there. But it was there. Like for me, I literally had a crash in a ski accident and broke my arm, and that took
That's
me
when
down.
I met her.
And that's when we met, and it forced me to reorganize my company in a more sustainable way because I was out of pocket for 6 weeks. And like, you look back and you're like, well, I mean, how was that connected? How was that aligned, right? Like I just had a freak ski accident, but something in the universe finally had enough, right? It was just like, well, it's gonna have to be this girl, you know? But I have seen that I can avoid the crash by tuning in earlier.
Yes.
And that is what I've also been working on.
Yes.
Because I am one who push it right to the limit and crash. I just did this recently. I pushed it right to the limit. I got sick. Like I hadn't been sick in 2 years, but you're playing, when you're playing with fire, you know it.
Yeah, when you're burning the
totally
candle.
know
Yeah.
it.
You're right.
Like, and the universe is like, yeah, you will get burned. And then you do. And then you're like, oh, I've learned my lesson. Now I'm going to rebuild. And I'm the queen of being the phoenix. Like, absolutely. Like, oh, I'll polish that turd. I'll rise out of these ashes because I'm addicted to the drama. But like, then you have to think about the physical, like the cortisol levels that induces, the physical toll that it takes on your body.
Yep.
And I've just started to realize, like, is this actually serving me? Like all that adrenaline, all that nonsense, like forcing me. What if I didn't have to be forced? What if I just like listened earlier? It's a phase that I'm in of like exploring that because I am the classic like, let's just really ride this to the bone and then crash and then like reinvent. And that's a common persona.
Well, I call that chaos creators. It's really common for a lot of us to be chaos creators. I used to be one.
Thrive in that.
I really, really try now to be systematic and process-driven creation because while it seems really boring and maybe analytical, it seems to have more sustainable growth and also feels just more better.
Well, how much better does it feel to be in a constant state of joy?
Right.
Than
Which should be our birthright.
constant state of dread or impending doom? Because you know when you're challenging that, like, yes, you're getting joy from the dopamine hit.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
That you're creating within yourself.
It's like riding the roller coaster emotionally.
But you're always going to crash and burn. What if I just you talked about this I don't know a year or so ago of like what if I just like lived in this like juicy bliss, right? And it's like, it kind of sounds lovely,
right? But is that attainable or possible?
Yeah. Why do
like,
I feel that that's not possible? Well, that's manufactured within my head, an ability to create that. So, gosh, I love how deep this conversation has already gone. I have no doubt that it would, but I do think that's an interesting way to think about it. Like, do we have to have the crash? Do we? Sometimes you don't get to choose, right? Like, you can be struck down with an illness or a car crash or whatever. Like, yeah, I mean, you don't always get to choose, but how often do you have a role in the matter? Does your ego have a role in the matter?
Well, and I mean, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional, right? So how we suffer through it.
Love that.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You know, I have a spiritual and business coach that I've mentioned, and we were working together for about 6 months. And at the beginning of November, we had about 2 months left, and she really had planned on, for the 6 months, really working a lot on my business because that is my weakest element as someone who didn't grow up learning business skills as a teacher. I have other skills that I bring to the table. And we went so deep in the healing, that it kind of threw off what we thought we were doing, which is great. But we got to the beginning of November after I'd had a crash, let's just call it that, right? And she was like, "How are you doing?" And I said, "Well, it's been pretty sucky, being honest, da-da-da-da-da." And she was like, "Are you ready to take the mask off yet?" And she challenged me. She's like, she just really saw how strong my protective barriers were with this masking, even though I'm healing, even though I'm succeeding in what I'm doing. And so she's like, you need to figure out how to calm your nervous system so that it doesn't feel hunted anymore. She's like, because you have been hunted. She's like, you deserve this. And so when you were just talking about, can I live in this juicy bliss? She challenged me. She's like, Heather, do nothing. And do nothing as long as it takes. Yeah. She's like, and so you know what? So now I have goosebumps because
I've got them too.
I have been doing that though.
Yeah.
It's such joy is our birthright. It really is.
And you know what? the sky didn't fall. So you just said, can I create this? So she told me, shut down, Heather. If you don't want to talk to people, if you don't want to make Thanksgiving dinner, if you don't want to see anybody, do only, like, she's like, if you want to sleep for 10 days in a row, she's like, get your nervous system back where it belongs.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that. And I have, what it trained me to do is I'm only listening to my nervous system. Like, does it, if it's like then it's like, oh, nope, I'm not going to go there. I want to feel safe. I want to feel content. And it has changed my life. And so when you talk about, can we create the spaces for a juicy, joyful, blissful life every day? You can.
I would agree 100%.
You have control over that. You and it's so hard. People are, the first thing they do is victimize and throw out like the control or no, couldn't possibly because of this, and this.
Yes.
No, that's a choice you make every day.
It's a limiting belief
It's a limiting belief to stay in that headspace and to like she said, the mask, like it's literally like peeling off onion layers, right? Like you still have more layers to peel off. And so your work is to continue to do that work, but only to the extent that you can keep your nervous system regulated.
Absolutely.
You can only go so fast. You have to regulate that. But we're a society who has just figured out how to manipulate everything on cortisol levels and dopamine hits, right? And so you're constantly in this fight or flight, dopamine hit, whether you realize it or not, every time you open your phone, right? Or so many of the things that we do is just to like feed that little demon inside. But if you can hack that, if you can get into your nervous system, rewire your brain to not crave the hit of this little dopamine, the next thing you know, you're like, what if I just don't need it anymore?
Okay. Like, wait, I'm not getting ready to restart my life. Right? She told me to take a break.
Like every time you're just
and
like,
I'm like, oh,
what am I bracing for?
Wait, so it felt like I was shutting down, right? She was telling me to shut down.
Pausing.
I was pausing, but now I realize that the pause turned into a normalcy.
And opened an energetic flow to something more and
so
different.
Much. My whole world has changed from this.
Yes.
The people I'm talking to is different. I'm seeing things differently. I feel how they're affecting my body. Oh, it's life-changing.
We talked about this in an episode we did a while back in spaciousness.
Yes.
You really have to create spaciousness in your life, whether it's through a daily practice or a retreat. Like I try really hard. I didn't do it last year or this year, but like going on like a personal retreat for even just a couple days or a weekend where you just literally need that time by yourself, to create space so you can reset in all the ways.
Right.
Not only your nervous system, but like, what am I going to do with my business? And just allow space to let whatever's meant to land and not try to direct the flow.
Absolutely.
Right?
And this is going to kind of build on that. I was talking with my husband last night over dinner. He'd listened to a podcast episode where we're basically talking about how creativity and innovation is on the decline because humans are not bored. We don't have inherent boredom in our lives.
Yeah, it's true.
Because our ability to transport with our devices removes the need to just be bored. So it's that do nothing, right? Like think about, we're of an age, we pre-cell phones, right?
Yeah.
Think about a time when maybe you were waiting for a ride somewhere. You're outside the school, the school's locked down, parents supposed to come and pick you up, they're late, and you're literally like, well, it's just me and my thoughts.
Right.
This is what comes to mind for me, and I've talked to other people about it. It's like, it's just me and my thoughts. And what's the last time you were literally trapped with your own mind and having to work through that, right? Process through that. If you don't have a meditation practice, and even then I do guided, so like I'm not my thoughts, like there's other parts of it. But like, when do we do that? The literally do nothing piece. It's not part of our practice anymore.
It should
used to be forced. It used to be just something
It was just part of
you
our
just
lives.
had it. It was just like, well, I guess I just got to sit here for 4 hours and wait, and I can't even know if they're still coming to get me or not. And you had to process through the worry, right? You had to like go through all of that.
You did.
Like, now I'm like, oh, I can see exactly where you are on the road. Like I know where my Uber is like 2 seconds away. Like when do we actually have to develop the skills within our mind
For imagination.
to imagine, to be creative, but also to
Dream.
like work through the fear and the dread. Like we don't exercise that we like in the ways that we used to.
That's a really good way of saying it. Yeah, we don't actually have practices set up to work through it. And so we get stuck in it,
Yeah.
right? Because we don't know how to actually go through the tunnel. We kind of get stuck in the tunnel and be like, it's dark in here. I'm scared. What do I do? Versus like, just keep walking, just keep going, and you're going to eventually get through the other side. We don't have a practice that does that.
And the brain is like a muscle. So the more you exercise certain parts of the brain, it thickens and develops capacity. So if you're exercising the part of your brain of problem solving, well, you're going to continue to be better at problem solving. Or, but like if you exercise your brain's ability to be bored through meditation or whatever other practice you use, you're going to be better at going to that place when you need it. And so thinking about like now as you go continue in this chapter of doing nothing, and there's a great book actually called Do Nothing. And you just like, what is that? Like, what are you exercising, and how can you habituate that practice for yourself so that when something does happen that sends you into that fight or flight mode, or you're like, no, I have a thing. I know how to calm that nervous system back down. Like practicing that, because we just rev it up without even realizing it all the time.
I have a question for you, not to try to get too off topic, but like, so you built this brand of Hesi May, and you, out of this spaciousness moment and like breakdown to breakthrough, I'm assuming that's kind of what you had in September, right? And to me, if I can just summarize, like, you are a publisher, but also you create art. So you help people, right, by helping them publish, but you also give the gift of your own inner art, and people can purchase it. Like, what kind of things, because you said like, my brand is all about healing. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because that's kind of like a little bit of what we're talking about. Because I'm sure not all books that you would want to publish would align for you. And I'm sure not all of your art, what does your art look like?
Sure.
Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Sure. I think I'll start with just like the publishing, is that I found out that a lot of people were looking for a very personalized experience if they were going to be sharing a book that had high vulnerability. I mean, writing a book and publishing it, even if it's fiction, is a vulnerable process for every single author, because now it's like, am I worthy? What's going to be the response? And so that is, but there are people like myself who were publishing memoirs or things that are a little more personal, and it's hard. And then when you go to, there's, 3 different ways you can publish. A lot of times it was more of a business type of process. And I, being someone who is trauma informed and an amazing communicator, I can hold space for people to show up and be seen, and also then develop the right kind of book.
Okay.
And so that kind of came into my branding with the books, is that the people who were finding me were people who needed that type of energy to bring their book into the world.
You hold them a certain way, and the way you hold them is through like helping kind of like pull out and, creating an emotionally safe.
I was just going to say, one of my web pages says, you are safe here.
Yeah.
That is such a big deal, because
emotional safety is huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that process is very personalized. And I know that every author feels seen in a way they didn't expect. They thought their book was going to be the thing, but in the end, I see them, and I right away say, your book is another part, and we're going to together get it to be the best thing I can. And so we work together, but I think it's more about the healing and the process the author receives.
In
that. So
it's like a boutique almost. You really
is. It's almost like life coaching disguised.
That's what I was just sitting here thinking. It's a medium. Like as I'm listening to you talk, I'm just like, this is so huge. This is an epic therapeutic practice.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Yeah, it really is.
You're supporting people telling their stories. Storytelling is very therapeutic in a written word, which is something so profound and legacy, right?
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Like you started out talking about. They're leaving this as their legacy. But to tell that story and to have it written and published, you need that other party to pull it out because we're guarded in our worthiness and in our comfort level. And then also just practical aspects, right? Like how do you do it, right? How do you write a book, right? I'm sure people like when they meet with you are just like, where do we even start, right? So I think that you are like, honestly, like sitting on the cusp of something really huge because publishing has always felt unapproachable, right? You have to have an agent. You need to work with a big house, you know, and then self-publishing became a thing, which is great, but you got to be really like disciplined and driven.
Yes, you do. It's
go
painful.
through the hurdles.
As if it's not hard enough to do it all by yourself anyhow, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what if you could have a guide that is this beautiful soul who will hold your hand and see you for who you are and help craft this vision and process. And I've watched you take somebody I know from start to finish and literally we celebrated a book being published together. Like that was magical.
It was.
That was life-changing.
And changed her and she couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
Right.
And like could have written the book, but not have gone from that to a book that I held in my hand and read without you by her side. Yeah. So if anything, like in hearing this conversation, I just want to encourage you, like this is maybe only one part of your story, but like this is a huge offering.
It's a gift.
It's a huge gift that people are willing to pay for.
Yeah, they should be.
They're absolutely willing to pay for it.
Yeah, they should be.
And I think I'm coming to a distinction too because it's custom covers and of course, you know, the author is a part of that experience. Like it's just a very boutique experience. Yeah. And it's funny as I have healed my scarcity mindset, people will kind of come to the table with, I've written this book, I'm ready to publish it. And, you know, maybe I just can't believe what people want to pay. You have two sides of the fence where it's like, well, I wrote this book. And I'm like, well, there's three ways. You can self-publish, you can go through a boutique like me, or you can find a literary agent and you can bring it to a big house. Here's your three options. Here's how they work. You know, but a lot of people just want to get it published but not pay the price, but not do it. You know, so they
don't want to do the work.
Yeah, and so it's not for everybody. And I'm very happy to say, here's the three ways, and here every single one of the ways to publish has value. And there are setbacks, every single one of them. But the right people are coming to Hesi May. So Jeba's book was the 17th book.
Wow. Congratulations. In 2 years?
Well, and there's been more since then, right?
No, that was the last
recent
one of the year.
Right.
Yeah, I don't publish after November. So yeah, with the ones I've done, but it's like that
That's
counts.
amazing.
So yeah, 17 books.
So many stories.
I know.
Look at all those stories that got out into the world.
So I do love it.
And at the end of the day, as you continue to develop this skill and the boutiqueness of this practice, like you set your price, and if they want Hesi May,
right. And I'm only
what
me.
it's gonna
I'm
cost,
only me,
right? You
and
can
if
only
I
do
love
so
art,
much.
we just talked about creating space.
Yeah,
and I want to be able to give my authors that experience.
Yes, you need that.
And publishing in mass won't allow that.
Yep.
Because that's the magic is like, you know, and so for me, 6 to 8 authors is the most I can publish in a year.
Perfect.
Like that's it.
And give them the attention they deserve.
And give them the attention that is what the whole point is.
So what about this art thing then that you love so much?
Tell us more about this.
What is that like? I've only
the
seen
joy
a little
you
bit.
just-
I know.
I just love it. So one thing with becoming an entrepreneur, again, was this deluge of like, well, how do you get your marketing out there? How do you become visible? And it's so friggin' overwhelming, which is why I wrote a book called Sell Your Book, Not Your Soul. Why?
Love that.
Because people come with their book and then the authors would get to the finish line. They're so excited. And then they look at me with deer in the headlights. And it's like, well, now do I have to get on social media? And I'm like, no, you don't have to do anything. And so again, it's this intuitive marketing. And so for me, that's sending things in the mail, which I bet both of you have probably received things from.
I love
like
your mail.
I love sending mail. I don't know what it is. I could sit all day long and just write mail to people.
Yeah.
And so
That's cute.
you know, I've done art now. I have a box full of so much beautiful art. so much. I've done 2 of Sarah Seidelman's 100-Day Journeys, and then I've done art on my own. I've illustrated a book already. I have art everywhere, and it just sits there. It just sits there, and I want to create more. And I'm like, okay, Heather,
what are you going to do with it?
what am I going to do with it? And
that's cool.
All of a sudden, my coach, Mara, sent me an Instagram reel of someone who had a monthly art club. Because she's been guiding me, and she's been like, Heather, do webinars, Heather, do this, Heather, do that. And there's Heather Resistance written all over that shit.
Heather is not doing any of that crap.
Heather was a teacher. Heather doesn't want to teach anymore. Like that is not part, but again, it's that what. And so when she sent me that, I mean, I was like, fuck yes. Da, 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 da. I was like, and ever since I said yes, which was not that long ago, I've already launched this monthly art club.
Yeah.
And it is so my energy. Like I can't not come to a new level of glowing when I talk about this club. So I get to create art, and I pick a strong or an inspirational woman's quote. I don't care if it's, the first one was Eleanor Roosevelt, and the next one might be Pink. But I pick a quote, and then I create art that embodies it. And the idea is behind it is it's this quiet rebellion. It's a beauty rebellion. And it's like, they've asked women to shrink, and we're going to answer with some art. And so I know. So I love it. So my first quote was Eleanor Roosevelt, "It's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness."
Oh.
And the art that came with it is, this moons are very, that grounded inner feeling is in a lot of my artwork. So big, huge full moon, and it's rich blues, and it's got kind of a rainbow aura going through the sky, reflecting on waters. And so it's like this opportunity to write this personal letter. Why did I do the art, or whatever it is? It's just, again, it's mail. And to send, so I do a G clay 5x7, so it's gorgeous quality. It's like ready to be framed.
It looks like an original.
Yeah, right. It's such a beautiful print. And then at the last minute, I decided to send 1-inch mini magic tiles. So I take something from the quote and I make a 1-inch little tile and tuck that in there with like an affirmation that matches. And I am madly in love with it.
Yeah. You're such an artist. Artists just go down excited. Yeah. They obsess over what they're in too.
But it's everything. It's like, it's the mail. And the first one I sent to you, like it's the sample, like I found out, the wax seal that I love doing, that doesn't ship well with the post office.
Yeah.
So I had like that test run, I found out some things, but now it's just.
Funny, because I just thought it was part of the print. I was like, I don't know, it works. I didn't. I was like, this is beautiful.
No, a few of them, like the wax rubbed. But so my art now, and that's what's so beautiful, it's unfolding, is in this quietness, this juicy time that I've paused.
Yeah.
Mars is like, Heather, keep doing your art if you feel like it. And so I've been doing art, and the first time ever, like Heather art is coming out.
Oh, I love this.
And it is auras and moons, and it's soft, and it's welcoming, and it's soulful, and it's me. And I am like so in love. I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you. I'm like,
that's
oh.
beautiful.
Your joy is contagious.
Yes.
This is the juicy joy that you should continue to sit in. Yeah. And in some level, I don't even know that you need to try to monetize it, because it'll just monetize itself, right? Like if you do the things, like I love that you were drawn to send it in the mail. I love receiving mail.
I know.
I'm horrible at sending it. It's the bane of my existence, but getting it. And I have developed like an actual, how do I say this? Like phobia of mail, because for a period of life, I felt like the only thing in the mail was bad news.
Yes.
Right? Bills and bad news.
Me too.
And it was sad to me because I love catalogs and magazines and like send me anything to flip through and I'm in. And I remember getting that mail and I was like, what is this magical thing? And just like reading I'm like, the experience of it was phenomenal.
Yes.
And also I'm an art lover, so it's just like, this is just such a cool novel concept. And hitting at multiple things that you love and your recipients love. So I can't wait to see where this goes. Yeah. And what, like, do you see for yourself, like, to do like an exhibition? Are there big pieces coming? Like, what else do you see in the art trajectory?
You know what? That did open up the flow. I have, so I have all my originals. I have so many originals. Oh my God. And some of them, they're so beautiful.
We need
They
to
sit in
have
a
an art
box.
opening.
Yeah.
And so, but I did one at
Yeah.
my home a year ago.
Okay.
But what I did is I resist being normal. And so that included, how do I exhibit these? And I like tiny art. I like
tiny
4x6 and 5x7
Okay.
or
Yeah.
2.5 by 3.5. Like I love small art, but it's
Yeah.
high impact. And I was like, I found custom frames because Michael's frames don't cut it. And I found these gorgeous frames, but it was like the glass. And so in the flow of this time, this big pause, I figured it out. I bought gorgeous wood and I cut it down and I stained it black. And I found black homemade paper and I rip it, and that's a base layer. And
Oh, wow.
then I mount the art on top, and it's like an altarpiece.
Oh, cool.
Oh my
It's
God.
1 inch thick, so like it could go on a wall. So they're all 8x10 with this gorgeous 7x9 black rich paper with my art on top. And
That sounds amazing.
This all just came out.
Where could one,
Purchase?
were they to want
look
to
at?
purchase an original
You know what? I'm
piece?
putting them together right now.
Okay.
Ooh.
And I
Which by the
gotta.
time this podcast lands,
I'm
you
gonna have
prob-
on
You'll
my
have something.
website.
Yeah,
My
okay.
website's gonna
Yeah.
have the store.
Because that's exactly the kind of thing that I would
yeah.
I would
I know,
commit
I'm
We don't have a
really-
lot of
I
wall
would
space
invest
left
in.
anymore, right?
No,
Yeah.
and to me too, I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
They're sacred. It's not a wall piece, and it
Yeah.
doesn't belong in glass.
Right.
It was like, no, let's anchor it. It's solid, and we can stand it somewhere. And it could go on a wall if you wanted.
love
but
that.
I know, and that came in that pause, and I was like,
Right.
oh,
You innovated. You
I
found
did.
creativity and invention in clearing out
Yeah.
the clutter.
So yeah, I would love to. I'm just open. I'm open to seeing where this new chapter of Hesi May goes with my art, with publishing. We have Floyd's Baller coming out in February.
Yeah, talk about that because I know about that, and like this is kind of a massive.
I don't feel like I actually know what this
is a massive big deal, Heather. You need to share that here, or if you feel comfortable.
No. Well, yeah. I have to get comfortable because I'm publishing it.
Yeah.
It's one of those divine things back.
Yes.
Yeah. So back in 22.
Yes.
So again, 22 is my magic year.
Yeah.
22 is my magic
Clearly.
year. I wrote my memoir.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't publish it, but I wrote my memoir. I quit my career.
That's a transformation.
And I met a Daryl Hunter. And there were some other, but like that 22 was my year. And a Daryl Hunter I met in December of 22. Super random way I met him. Super funny. Something to have to do with a dating app. And it was someone on the dating app who introduced me to him, and it's a funny story. It's a funny story how the universe put that together. It's a meme. But I met a Daryl Hunter on this call with another gentleman, and they were writing a book. A Daryl Hunter was George Floyd's best friend.
Okay.
He's in the cities, and we met in December, and he's the most beautiful soul. Humble, so protective of his friendship with George, and not wanting to ever believe that he never wanted to make a dollar off of him. And so we started working in January of 23 on writing a book about his journey as being the best friend, and this other gentleman was kind of helping, and it was so turning smarmy. And I was sitting there going, I'm like, wow, this is a George Floyd book, and they wanted me involved, and da-da-da. And I walked away. I was like, this doesn't have integrity. This isn't honoring you, Daryl. Lo and behold, flash forward, the book is done.
Wow.
We removed ourselves from that other man, and Daryl just kind of kept staying in my world for different reasons. And I just believed in his story. And so the story, it's a young adult historical fiction book. And it is about their friendship and the racial biases and the generational patterns that they were stuck in, and their dreams and their choices and coming of age that all of our teens face. And in the end, it's not about the political side of do you support who Floyd was or not. It's about he was a human like all of us. We are all George Floyd.
Yep.
And to Daryl, the book isn't about George. I wrote the book. Daryl told me the information over the last couple of years, and Floyd narrates. So Floyd's narrating about his best friend.
Oof. Wow.
And Daryl really never felt like he belonged anywhere. He actually grew up in Black privilege in Louisiana and in Houston. And so like he was a Senate page when he was 14. He had lots of privilege.
Wow.
But then in the summers, he'd go off to Houston and be in the projects. And so he kept getting bounced around as project kids do. And he just never knew where he belonged. So he wanted to belong everywhere. And that's the story of his life, is that he wanted to ride this wave of like, I'm gonna be an angel and I'm gonna go get my pharmaceutical license, but I'm gonna do this bad stuff in the projects. And he rode that wave until he needed to come up to Minneapolis for the rehab program, which was to say like, I need help. I need it after all these experiences. And then Floyd followed him up within a month.
Oh.
And so Floyd followed him up here. And it's not just, I mean, it's such a beautiful story.
It sounds intriguing.
It's beautiful because it's about a Daryl and like the choices that he had to make, and that you sometimes can't be it all.
Yeah.
You can't have your feet on both sides of the fence and think that like life is going to roll out. And he was faced with that. Oh, that was his mountain.
Think about what you just told. You mean you can't do it all and crash and burn without dealing with the consequences?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful book. And
Can't wait.
yeah, it's coming out in Black History Month.
Nice. That's perfect.
It is
February.
perfect. Daryl's flying up to speak in Duluth.
Oh, wow.
We're going to do a public thing at the Marshall School. I think we have NPR coming to.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they're going to come
That's
interview
really
us.
amazing.
It is really.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's going. This Friday, I'm getting interviewed by Robert Samuels, who's Pulitzer Prize winner and Washington Post journalist.
Oh my gosh, girl.
Like, seriously?
And I just started my publishing company like 2 or 3 years ago.
It's because he's connected to Daryl, because Daryl helped him write his name is George Floyd book.
Okay.
So Daryl has connections. Like,
Yeah.
Tolu was a White House correspondent, and like we have Mayor Fry doing a forward.
Wow.
Like, there's people that knew Daryl because of how close he was, but Daryl never really became this public. He just didn't want to. He's
private.
like, he was way too private. And I think right now he's processing, what does it mean now that we wrote this book? Life isn't going to be as private for him potentially. And so he's in his own journey. But I know, like I'm just like excited.
There's so much good coming up for you.
Yes.
So much.
You're bringing so much light to the world through your work.
Yeah.
That's just a beautiful gift.
And it comes from someone who understands darkness. I understand how hard you can try to live a good life and it doesn't work out and you don't know why, and it's hard and it's painful and it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still hard. And then there's beauty. And yeah, I've been through it. But I'm still like soft-hearted and I still love, and I've forgiven myself for the things that I did. And I just want to be in flow, which means less control and calm this nervous system down. So I think that's a good timing before February comes around.
Yeah, before things get heated
little
up
busier.
and even busier. Yeah, you're in a season of wintering. Have you read that book by Catherine May?
I absolutely know about it. I have not.
I just read it.
Oh, you did?
I'm going to just say you need to read that book like right now. Couldn't be better timing for where you are in your life, because it's really about her going through a season of wintering, shutting down, how nature winters, shuts everything down so that it can regenerate and come anew in the spring. And it's an easy, short read. I was enthralled. So I think we were meant to be here today for me to tell you, like, that would be a perfect, juicy, easy way to like, just, I don't know.
Embrace
this season, this wintering, especially because where we live, winter just showed up, which was also, as I'm reading it, the snow's coming down and I'm just like, this is perfect timing. And I really think that there's something to it. It's kind of why I really like living in a place that has 4 seasons.
Agreed.
Because there is a certain forcedness of it getting dark early, cold,
pause. You have to force the pause.
You have to. It's like, well, I guess I'm not leaving the house today. What am I going to get into? Like, I think you're going into your wintering, and that's going to prepare you for when you need to be ready to launch the next big thing in your life. So,
and I am open to it not being big.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the beauty, right? Like that's the flow. I'm just like, I want to feel healthy and know.
Yeah.
So if it's big, if it's little, it's just a ripple. It's just a ripple. And I don't need to get it big. There's
that's
just
healthy right there.
I just want it to do good and to create a little light in a dark space.
Tell about, so we're starting to get towards the end of our time with you today, but I want you to talk about your podcast because you just said you talked about the ripples a couple times, and I know the name of your podcast.
Yeah.
So we would be remiss not to mention that she has a beautiful podcast. So share with us a little bit about that.
Sure. It is called Starting Some Ripples.
I love that.
And, it really was about an opportunity for people to reclaim some of the dignity for themselves in telling their story. I mean, it's like the micro version of publishing. If you're willing to go on a podcast and, it's going to be out of your control.
Yep.
And that's the same thing, that's the messaging.
Yeah.
And I want people to really understand that it's in the grit that we can share that really helps each other. Like we could sit here together and talk about all the amazing things, and that's fabulous. But if we can sit together in community and really help others feel seen and validated in their experiences and in their troubles, man, that has such an impact of potential. And so, so I have all types of people that come on, whether they're people who I am in relation with. I've had people reach out. I've had one of my former students go on. And I do love it. And I think it also, it comes to 1 year. I've had it for 1 year, and I think I had 31 episodes published. Mine is audio only. And then the world fell apart. And so now, I'm in the pause, and it's so all of those episodes are on my website and they're on, major platforms, but it's like, what are the right components moving forward? And I think in the pause, it'll call you if it wants to. And so whether it's this beautiful digest of 35 podcasts when it's done and it just sits there, or whether I continue it is yet to be seen.
I think that's what we've talked a lot about in this exercise for us. And it's a lot like writing a book, right? Like each of these episodes is a chapter, and it does feel like we've laid down a digest, a legacy of a period of time, however long it lasts.
Yeah.
And so I think like your episodes being accessible on your website, they're beautiful to listen to no matter what. And I like just her voice is so beautiful, and you just hear Heather coming to you from the airwaves.
There's the mist.
There's the mist. You're just like, oh.
And then here
I
comes
could
the
listen
ripple.
to that.
Right.
Yeah. So I can say they're worth listening to at any time. And I love that you captured that. Like now you've got your written word. Now you've got your spoken word, right? And your art.
The visual world.
The world is getting all these pieces of Heather and just saying like, more of it. Even sitting here today, my mind is like, we need to have an art opening. What about a book launch? I'm just like, I am thinking of all the ways I can continue to interact with you.
Oh,
wow.
I love
like,
you too.
How many humans do you meet? Like where we started with this conversation, where like once you meet them, you just keep like
welcome
interacting.
You're
with
ours.
them.
You're not getting away.
Monique and I tend to do that. We're like, hi,
we're really cool. You're gonna like us.
We've adopted you. Like, hope you're happy about it.
So, is this going to include incidents like Bayfield?
It could.
We just
we have so many stories. Oh my gosh!
I don't know that I'm ready for that level of friendship.
Seeing husbands in underwear.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I haven't seen men in underwear in a really long time, girls. So
It's good
honestly, that's actually most of our stories are highly female energy driven. Every once in a while, we let the men get involved, but
true that. Yes.
Maybe it involves the Bayfield where Monique is badass driving the boat. Parking the boat. Now, every time I like land a sail, I say, it's just like when Monique parked the boat. She literally is such, you see her get behind that.
What a tagline.
Oh, she is the biggest badass you've ever seen. Her hair blown in the wind.
Look at her
She's
glow,
so funny.
Yeah, I know. Because she's so, like, she is so in her element when she's driving that boat. So I hope you get in on that kind of Bayfield magic. So, yeah. Well, this is a great place with this laughter and joyousness and juiciness to bring this episode to a close. Heather, it's been just like so wonderful to share space with you, to hear about all that you do and offer through Hesi May. People can find Heather and all her work at hesimay.com.
Yes.
We're going to link to that in the show notes and share more about how you can interact with Heather. So if you've got a book that is just burning in your soul,
Yes.
and the stars align, and Heather's both conviction and availability are matched for you, you might have found a publisher. So, I mean, that's huge. This is not you don't know many of you're a unicorn. That's what I'm saying. Or if you think to yourself, like, yeah, I would love a curated piece of art with a beautiful quote to just find me once a month in the beautiful mail, like, check that out. Listen to the podcast. Cool. Like, so many ways that they can experience you. And I hope that people will. So thank you for joining us here today.
It was lovely. Thank you both.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Well, that's been another episode of the Heart and Soul podcast. If you have a moment to leave us a review, we love 5 stars. That's the greatest way for our podcast to gain traction in the big sea of podcasts. And if you have any questions, comments, want to interact with us, connect with us on Instagram. We love that. We love interacting with our listeners. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you again here next time. Cheers, friends. You've just finished another episode of the Heart and Soul podcast. We hope that you've enjoyed the show, and if you've loved it, we would love if you'd leave us a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening. You can find links to leave that review in the show notes, where you'll also find other resources that we reference on our show. And if you think a friend could find value in today's episode or any future episodes, please share this episode with them on social media. This is one of the only ways the podcast can organically grow, and we just can't wait to connect with you and all of your besties. You can also find Monique and I on our many social media platforms or our websites, and we're going to leave links to those in the show notes as well. Thank you for listening. We look forward to sharing our hearts and souls with you again next time. With Heart, I'm Mariah.
And with Soul, I'm Monique.